Hello students, I welcome you all to Current Affair Lectures by Azad ICS Academy, and today we are going to look into the current affairs of 13th March. So let us see the current affairs for today. Before we start with the current affairs, let us discuss the questions that we had seen yesterday. What is the Starlink's primary service offering? So we have seen that Starlink is nothing but it is a satellite-based service provider. It is going to provide connectivity using the satellite. So it is going to provide, so obviously the world satellite itself will make it more correct. So answer is satellite-based network services or internet services. It is a company, there's a company called SpaceX, okay, by Elon Musk, and they are going to club with Bharati, that is Airtel, and provide proper internet services even to the remote space or remote areas. So this is the major aim, what they are trying to plan for, right? So this is the answer with the first question. The second question, before starting the operation in India, what approvals does the Starlink needs to take place? That is nothing but it is C. SEBI is nothing to do, and Finance Ministry, Niti Aayog and TRAI have nothing to do here as well. Here is from the Supreme Court and RBI, obviously, so these are all, examples of finance. This is related to finance, this is related to finance, this is related to Planning Commission, obviously. Department of Telecommunication and Home Ministry is the right answer for this particular question. So now let us see the important articles for today. The first important article that we have is the promise of mycelium bricks against the climate change. So what is this mycelium? See, mycelia is basically referring to a fungi. Okay, when there are certain words that we need to understand, right? So here, this is related to important. Mycelium brick offers a sustainable alternative to traditional clay brick, reducing carbon emission while facing challenges in durability, moisture resistance, and scalability. So in the light of climate change, a construction industry, like many, are considering how to reduce carbon footprint and become more sustainable. It's very, very important for us to, understand that we have to come up with sustainable resources or sustainable way to fight all the issues that we have. And how can we do this? And the promising way, we'll see what are these mycelium bricks. Okay, what is a mycelia? Mycelia basically refers to fungi. See, if I have to discuss a little bit of biology here, okay, basically what happens here is all the living organisms are divided into 5 kingdoms. Okay, so we have something called as kingdom Protista, or first is Monera, and then we have Protista, and then we have fungi or Mycota. See, mycelia, mycota, these all refers to the word fungi. Okay. Similarly, we have plantae. Here you have all plant kingdom. They are further divided. We'll not go into discussions, but yes, just have an understanding that all the entire, if you go to 8th standard and 9th standard class NCERT biology, you will understand this. What am I trying to tell you? And this is basic science or basic biology. So all the living organisms on the earth are divided into 5 kingdoms. So these are Monera, there is Protista, there is fungi, there is plantae, there is Animalia. Further, they are divided. We will not go into further divisions again, right? So mycota here is nothing but fungi. Anything that is related to fungi can be mentioned as mycota. Okay. So now let us see. What is this exactly? So we are going to use mycelium bricks, or we are going to use bricks that are going to be made use of fungi. One opportunity is concerned with the bricks. Fired clay bond have a mainstay for a construction industry, but produces as almost emits around 300 billion tons of carbon dioxide every year. So the bricks that you have, the carbon bond bricks that you have, to produce this every year, this much amount of carbon dioxide is emitted, which should increase more urbanization. A new advance on this front is mycelium bricks. Mycelia are a branch filament of fungi that make up vegetative part. Researchers have them harnessed to create biodegradable, fire-resistant, and installative bricks. They can be made combining husk, sawdust, and fungal spores to create fibrous network that solidifies into a lightweight material. Within a few days, these material become harder structure. So previously they'll be very soft, but over a period of time they become a very hard structure. So if you have seen corals, how corals are, first they are very cute, colorful, and over a period of time how coral bleaching happens, how they are hard, skeleton is left. Similarly, we are going to use a lot of straw dust, husk, and we are going to use fungal spores, and these fungal spores are going to over a period of time form this solid network. They're going to form a solid lightweight material. Over a period of time it is going to be very, very harder. Okay, so this is what we are going to understand. They may ask you what is it made up of. Please understand husk, sawdust, and fungal spores. is something that you need to understand. The material will grow and solidify within few days, forming a very lightweight fibrous structure. Now, these are biodegradable. Okay. So here, this is going to reduce the building carbon footprint. Okay. Prominent set. Here, why? Because these are biodegradable. The one which we are talking, they are biodegradable. Okay. And reduces carbon emission compared to the traditional fire clay bricks. And thermally insulative means provides good heating insulation, making it energy effective for buildings also. Means it's going to be very insulative. That means it's going to not allow conduction of heat. It will not allow the heat to pass through it. So hence it's going to be fire resistant also. So you can see mycelium is naturally fire resistant. It can be exposed to heat for a longer period of time, causes its structural could cause structural failure if you are exposing it to heat. Mycelium compost also, see, it is fire resistant, but if you are exposing it to a lot heat, it may get, but requires fire resistant, but requires treatment for prolonged durable. So one important challenge you can see here is that weak load bearing capacity compared to concrete. See, concrete, you can build a lot of, big buildings. But the same thing cannot happen when it comes to these kind of things. Point number one, absorbs moisture, making it unsuitable for damp environment. So it is only good for some kind of environment, not good for all the environment, because it will absorb a lot of moisture. Okay. So these are some other things. Then susceptible to terminate and biodegradable within few days. Or as we are discussing it as biodegradable, that means it is going to get destroyed at one point of time. But that's not the same when it comes to concrete. Okay. So can be improved. Okay. How can we improve with the non-toxic flame radiance, UV protection coating, and make better infrastructure? So we can do this. So here you can see mycelium can be treated with non-toxic flame retardants to make it enhance the fire resistivity, followed by UV protection coat that can prevent the photo degradation in outdoor applications, is what they say. The biggest challenge is consumers' attitude, which experts will said that will require more investment and research development. Mycelium bricks are more competitive with clay bricks, and awareness campaigning shift. So obviously we have to understand that, see, over a period of time, it is very difficult for the people when they are building their house. Most of the people who are building their house would be middle class people, and they would not require to compromise anything on the building that they're going to build. So what they will do here is, no, we want a stronger structure. We want a stronger building. So for that, they would not like to go with the mycelium bricks, but they would like to go with the concrete brick itself, because it's very difficult to change the perception of a particular person, right? So, that is one thing. But thanks to climate change and advent of concepts like high performance building, interest is already growing in alternative and sustainable material. This shift along the policy pushes can drive demand for sustainable alternative. Anyways, making it market for mycelium is something that we need to understand. Now, let us see the next important topic. Okay. So what is the next important topic that we have? As a sole artisan wind up his craft, it's time for the last hat tip to frame cap. So the Telangari topi, a traditional handmade prayer cap reviewed or revered by the Muslim community and recognized as a heritage symbol, is on the brink of becoming a relic of history. That means these kind of caps that are designed are now losing interest. So that is why this, to create awareness, we have this. The last remain artisan engaged in this craft has ceased production. Ceased production means stop the production, making an end of 200-year-old legacy. So we are going to stop this production. He's trying to stop this kind of production. The reason is because people are maybe not buying it, or maybe whatever reason it is. For whatever this legacy was there, this was around 200-year-old legacy. The cap is essential for a Muslim attire. So this is something that we need to understand. This Telangari cap is essential part of Muslim attire, especially during the holy month of Ramzan. However, the demand has trapped off, and Abdul Rahim, a fourth generation cap maker and the last custodian of this particular craftsman, halt production 6 months ago. So he is saying that before 6 months ago, he has stopped producing these kind of caps. Anyways, right now we are in a holy month of Ramzan. All the Muslim viewers or all the Muslim students, I wish all of you a happy Ramzan. I hope all of you are taking care of very good health of yours, because you must be fasting since morning. I hope you guys are at good health. And at this point of time, we have to see that there's a bad news, that because there's one person who is in the fourth generation of making these particular cap, and he has stopped the production 6 months ago. And why he has stopped the production, let us see about it in detail. The reason is because, okay, now look, Mr. Rahim says that this art, making of this cap, believed to have been thought people who comes from Lakshadweep. So who have thought them? People who are coming from Lakshadweep. Okay, they have been taught this particular craft. It mentioned that it can also be found in 14th century writings of Morocco travel Ibn Battuta. So there is a Moroccan travel who came to India, and it is also mentioned in that in 14th century's writings as well. So this is related to art and culture a little bit. He inherited this craft from his father, okay, who made this cap globally famous at his 60 years of career, selling it in India, major cities, and Gulfs. Despite the state government's recognition, the cap has an heritage item. Mr. Rahim cities a lack of institutional support and promote this particular tradition. So we have to understand that traditionally this particular cap is made up of cotton. Here it is mentioned, traditionally made up of pure cotton with a minimal machine use. Each cap requires at least 20 days of meticulous craftsmanship at its peak. The industry supported 40 families, but Mr. Rahim was the last remain of the traditional being production stopped. The Telangari cap decline signals not just the loss of craft, but also fading a cultural identity without urgent intervention. The rich legacy may soon become a memory, says Mr. Rahim. So he is talking about how he did not get any kind of help from the government. And you can see he was supporting 40 families, and now all that families will not be able to get any kind of support. The reason is because this kind of artwork is getting degraded day by day. The craft is believed to have been introduced by the people from Lakshadweep and also mentioned in 14th century, as I mentioned. So this is something that we have to understand. Despite being recognized as a heritage item, the cap lacks institutional support. So this is something which is very bad news for us, right? Now let us see the next important topic, that is global contribution or global coordination can trump efforts to undercut climate predictions. Let us see what is this all about. Okay. Now, in the second term of President of United States, several hundred employees of US National Ocean and Atmospheric Administration were fired. So please look at it. So here you can say NOAA, that is nothing but National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration were fired. They were removed. Okay. Then now the decision raised concern about climatic community, as NOAA plays a key role in weather and climate services. So they were playing a very important key role in climate and other services. But now the people are being fired, then what is going to happen when it comes to climate is a concern, right? So we have to understand weather forecast and climate predictions. Weather forecasts require understanding global patterns, while climate prediction focuses on long-term meteorological changes. Climate projections provide possible scenarios for the future and to coordinate with the United Nations Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change. So basically, to coordinate with all these things, we need these kind of NOAA. But now we are seeing that there are very less number of people, or the people from this particular organization are now fired. Okay, so whatever projections are there, they are going to be closely coordinated. You can see by the UN Intergovernmental Panel of Climate Change, right? But now the people are being fired. Every few years, IPCC compiles stimulations from different climate assessment model to produce an assessment report with the most recent report. So what they do is they go and take the report from all the different countries and they form a report, right? And the latest report that was released from 2021, 2022. Right now, what is this NOAA? Okay, it is a US federal agency under Department of Commerce responsible for monitoring oceanic and atmospheric conditions. But anyways, now this is not going to be there, right? So this is kind of a very bad news for us. So this was established in 1940. It plays a very crucial role when it comes to weather forecasting, climate monitoring, etc. It operates on the key organizations such as, you can see some of the key organizations as well. Okay. And apart from this, key organizations such as National Weather Services, but it supports global climate studies, etc., such as IPCC. Now, the person who supports this only does not have much amount of people around it. Now, see, climate predictions require accurate models. Okay, but now these accurate models only are not existing. This is a very alarming news for all of us, because US is not giving or supporting so much importance or giving so much importance when it comes to climate change, right? So the World Meteorological Organization oversees global coordination with these efforts. No single country has enough data capabilities. Different climate centers use varied methodologies for data assimilation and combined prediction for multiple centers, improved accuracy. So here we need to understand one thing, that United Nations World Meteorological Organization is telling that no country has that kind of models which will give us a specific information. So it is very important that we get information from each and every country and they can stimulate it. But the challenge is political decisions such as reduction of NOAA's workforce could impact global system. Maybe we will not be able to predict as much as we can because of this kind of decision. A well-organized global effort would lead better forecast method models and extreme weather conditions. Existing climate models do not provide sufficient details as well for us. So challenges in the long term are going to be something that we have to worry about. What are the challenges that we are going to face? See, please understand, climatic projections currently focus on prediction up to year 2100. Okay. Maybe another few years we can predict, but we do not know what is going to happen after that. But experts suggest that focusing on shorter socially relevant timescales are few decades. Okay, we are able to predict it up to this, but over a period of time, we will not be able to predict what's going to happen in the longer run, because you can see some of the countries are not even supporting us properly. Existing model consider factors such as energy innovation, population growth, and climate policies, but do not account anything. So we need to have some proper analyzation. And what we have to do here is the global coordination climate system is necessary, something that is very, very important. Delay in strengthening predictions would lead to vulnerables, and we will have to face a lot of issues when it comes to climate change, right? This is just how US is not supporting, or this is just to tell what exactly is happening when it comes to climate change, or the issues that we would face in future when it comes to climate change, right? So not that important. Anyways, we will discuss more about this in future again, right? Now, how long does it take to make a Tilangari cap using a traditional method? This is one of the important questions. Because Telangari topi is in news, maybe you will get a question out of this. Try to answer this question. Try to put your answers in the comment section. I'll see you guys in tomorrow's lecture.